Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, we're diving into a big old pile of paperwork from New York Life Investments, a trust that manages several exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. It's going to be interesting, kind of like when you find out your grandma's secret recipe involves something totally unexpected. This report is a certified shareholder report covering the year leading up to April of 2025, and we're going to be looking at the important stuff. A quick heads up, we also have a Discord community linked in the description below, where you can chat about money and investments if this stuff interests you. So what's the skinny? This is basically New York Life telling their investors how their ETFs, different investment funds, performed over the past year. There's a bunch of these funds, 9 to be exact, so we are not going to go into detail for all of them. You can request this by contacting us at 800 a report for each. Hamber Red Bull, EFTEV, Edger, E88 474 77TT8, 88, Aji as good of a call to give them as any. 88, so we are not going to go into detail for all of them. You can request this by contacting us at 88 474 7725. It is as good of a call to give them as any. To fault 75, it is as good of a call to give them as any. Axtibet, let's go through each one to describe something important, as mentioned in the report for each. First up is the NYLI McKay Core Plus Bond ETF. Overall, it's down a bit. An initial investment of $10,000 on June 29th, 2021 would only be worth only roughly 9,881, would only be worth only roughly 916%. Then we got the NYI McKay High Income ETF, and that one is doing gangbusters at $12,468, coming from $10,000 in end of October 2022. The problem here that it's still underperforming against benchmarks, most clearly being the Bloomberg Very Liquid High Yield Index, which sits at $12,749. For the NYLA McKay Securitized Income Fund, initial results are poor, and the report actually shows 2019, 2020, etc. results. Seems weird. Either way, total return versus Bloomberg US Aggregate Bond Index had the fund at 1.6C, and benchmark at 430, so it is outperforming. For the NYLA McKay Muni Insured ETF, the Bloomberg Municipal All-Insured Bond Index is just barely outperforming with 2.01%. Since inception versus this fund at 2.0%, either way for a 7-year time range doing so little is not the greatest. For the NYLA McKay Muni Intermediate ETF, Bloomberg Municipal Bond Index 115 year, blend is basically performing the same with 1.69% since inception versus this fund has 2.25%. So it's fine. For the NYLA McKay California Muni Intermediate WTF Bloomberg California Intermediate Municipal Bond Index process performing way better. This fund has lost money the last 2 years and only 4% from before is up. Ways CBRE Real Estate just barely underperformed 6.84 versus 6.87% respectively since May 10, 2023. Again, doesn't seem like you'd need so much active management here. NI Winslow Large Cap Growth ETF is crushing it compared to the benchmarks, 22.43% versus 15.85 and 21.19% for the Russell 3000 Index and Russell 1000 Growth Index respectively. In the high rates game plan, big companies win. And lastly, the winner is NYLI Winslow Focused Large Cap Growth ETF. They've had a total return of 24.74% since inception, compared to the Russell 3000 Index had just 15.85%. It is much more focused, but boy did it pay dividends. Well, I guess in total returns world it paid dividends. So yeah, that's a very quick summary of every fund that New York Life Investments makes available for you. If you want to see which one I prefer the most in this section, you can go to the description below to have more analysis in our Discord server. Now let's continue digging. Moving all the way to the top 10 holdings and industries. Now, that's where you can often glean some insight into where the fund managers are placing their bets. For example, the NYLA McKay Core Plus Bond ETF shows heavy investments in top industries in mortgage securities, banks, and US Treasury notes, all around 10% of assets, so pretty good. Gavri, you can see which notes exactly if you give them a call on the number noted in the PDF file shown. The NYLI McKay High Income ETF focuses much more on media, 10.7%, oil and gas, 7%, and Comerical 5.8%, with no mention of treasury bonds, so the fund is being way more aggressive than the NYLI McKay Core Plus Bond ETF. While for the NYLI McKay Securitized Income ETF, Fannie Mae Pool Traced dominates with 18.2% of total assets are coming the Fannie Mae pools. After that, Freddie Mac comes as the next major holder, so the name isn't lying here, eh? Okay, so what actually changed with these funds over the past year? Well, big news. The ESG label, meaning environment, social, and governance stuff, is out. Basically, they've shifted away from explicitly focusing on socially responsible investments. The advisor is calling it rebranding now, but hey, that's pretty much it. If you want all the details, you can always visit their website to see the prospectus, financial info, and all that jazz. All other stuff is legal boilerplate, so that's it. Thanks for watching this video about financials from the black hole that is Wall Street. We will be here to decode it for you. So what's interesting here? And while I just manages a lot of boomer and boomer adjacent stuff. A real asset fund. Yes, it's good, but real asset ETF, this will likely only go up if rates crash. And even then, is the world going to be great if rates crash? And even then, is the world going to be great if rates crash? And even then, is the world going to be great if rates crash? Hob, the winners right here are the growth company EFTs. That is where money is being made, and that's where everything is getting allocated. Good for them. The others are doing okay with benchmark returns, but the boomers are just not making any good money, in my opinion, of course. Ultimately, NYLA maintains a solid position for its ETF offerings. The strategic reallocation away from ESG criteria could attract a wider investor base, but it also runs the risk of alienating some investors. Alright, that's our breakdown of New York Life Investments and their ETF. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives into corporate documents. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.